Hey OK crew, and welcome back to another yoga class. Today's class has come as a special request from one of our OK crew members to have a specific focus on balance. So today's class is really all about balance, really working one side of the body and then the other. So all of our warm up and cool down will be focused around preparing the muscles and then helping restore the muscles when we come out of the flow portion of today's class. So with further ado, let's get started in today's class. We're all going to begin in a tabletop position, one of our favorite ways to start. And we'll go through a few rounds of cat-cow, just to warm up the hips and the spine. So again, shoulders are stacked underneath your wrists and hips over top of knees. Your spine is nice and long here, so make sure that your gaze is maybe just a few inches in front of you so that you're not letting the head tilt down or up when you're in a neutral spine. On an inhale, begin to tilt your tailbone up, the belly sinks down, chest comes open, and head is last to rise. Exhale as you tilt the tailbone under, curving through the low back, sucking in that belly, pushing between your shoulder blades, head comes down last. Exhale to dip the belly. And then inhale to curl back up. We'll go through that one more time. Inhale, the belly dips. Exhale to come up through cat. Come back to your neutral spine, and then we'll come into a half kneeling pose. So the right leg will come out, so our hips and knees are at 90 degrees. And we're gonna do our hip opener and our hamstring opener. So tuck the tailbone under to get a nice stretch immediately through the left side. If this gives you a deep enough stretch, just stay here or begin to lean into it. So leaning into your front knee here to deepen the stretch. As you exhale, begin to send the hips backwards, straightening your front leg as you forward fold over the front leg. This gets the hamstring through the right side. Inhale to lunge through to a hip stretch. Exhale to forward fold, push the hips back, and stretch the right hamstring. Do that 2 more times, just following the pace of your own breath. Last time. And we'll return to our half kneeling position and switch legs. So this time the left leg will come out in front at that 90-90 position. Tuck the tailbone under to get that initial stretch in the right hip. And then you have the option to begin leaning forward to deepen. Send the hips back as you begin to forward fold and straighten your left leg. Inhale back to the hip opener. Exhale over your straightened left leg. Inhale to lunge forward. Exhale to forward fold. Last time, inhale, hip opener. Exhale, forward fold for the hamstring. Come back up nice and tall, and we'll return into our tabletop position. So we'll begin by doing a quadruped style balance pose, which we have done before, called bird dog. So in bird dog, we're going to put all the weight into our left hand, really pushing through that shoulder. The right arm will come out straight ahead as if you're shaking someone's hand. And then your opposite leg, so your left leg will shoot out behind you. The foot flex as if you're trying to push into the wall that's behind you. Try to keep your hips level here and the spine nice and long. Draw your right elbow and your left knee together in a crunch and extend out long. Crunch and extend out long. Crunch, extend out long. Crunch and out long. One last time. Inhale to crunch. Exhale out, extend out long. And hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Place your hand and your knee back on the mat. Transfer the weight into your right hand, really pushing through the mat to protract your shoulders. Your left hand extends out long, right leg extends out long, foot is flexed. On an inhale, draw your left elbow and right knee together to come into a crunch. Extend out long. Inhale to crunch. Exhale, extend out long. Inhale to crunch. Exhale out long. Inhale to crunch. Exhale out long. One more time. Inhale to crunch. Exhale out long and hold. So adding movement makes it more of a dynamic balance pose. And so it engages some more stabilizing muscles, making it harder to balance when you add movement. And so your muscles need to work a little bit harder. So it's good to be adding movement when doing a balance pose. Exhale your hand and your knee back down to the mat. Tuck your toes and send your hips up and back into our first downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here. Pedal out the feet if that feels good. Take any movements in your downward dog that might help your muscles to relax or prep them for movement. Take 2 nice deep inhales and exhales. On your next inhale, come up onto your toes, bend your knees, look between your hands, and step to the front of your mat into a forward fold. Inhale to flat back. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale, sweep your arms up overhead, come to stand, palms touch. Exhale, palms to heart center. Inhale to sweep your arms up overhead, palms touch, gaze follows. Exhale, hinge at the hips, forward folds. Let the head hang heavy here. Inhale to flat back. Exhale to forward folds. Plant your palms and step your feet back into high plank, high push-up. Option to come down onto your knees or shift the weight into your hands. Squeeze your elbows in by your sides as you lower down through your push-up, chest first and then the hips. Inhale through your back bend, whether that be cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, tuck the toes, send your hips up and back into downward facing dog. So sun salutation A, which we're doing right now, is a great way to warm up the body. It's warming the body and then stretching all the major muscle groups of the body. So that's why it's in the majority of yoga classes, because it hits those major muscle groups that we'll be working in later in class. Take 2 more deep inhales and exhales. On your next inhale, come up onto your toes. Bend your knees, look between your hands, and step to the front of your mat into forward fold. Inhale up to flat back. Exhale to forward fold. On strong legs, sweep your arms up overhead, come to stand, palms touch, gaze follows. Exhale, arms to heart center. We'll do that one more time. Inhale, sweep your arms up overhead, palms touch, gaze follows. Exhale to hinge of the hips, forward fold. Inhale to flat back. Exhale to forward fold. This time, plant your palms and step your feet back into a high plank, high push-up. Optional, lower down to your knees. Or shift the weight into your hands, bending at the elbows, squeezing your elbows in towards your ribs, lower down through your push-up, chest first, and then your hips. Inhale to upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, push your hips up and back into downward facing dog. Take a few more breaths here. In your downward facing dog, try to elongate your breath, really focusing on that belly breathing, deep rhythmic breaths to help slow the heart rate down. Downward facing dog is meant to be a restorative pose and gives you the opportunity during class to catch your breath, to slow things down, and it's a great opportunity to come back to your breath to help the body slow down. On your next inhale, come up onto your toes, bend your knees, look between your hands, and step to the front of your mat into forward fold. Inhale to flat back. Exhale to forward fold. And on strong legs, sweep your arms up overhead, come to stand, palms touch, gaze follows. Exhale, palms to heart center. Arms can come down by your side. So now that the body is warm, we're going to come into the balance flow component of today's class. And I will be introducing 2 new poses. The first being eagle. So I'm quickly going to demonstrate so that we can get into the flow and you'll feel a little bit more confident in how to get into this pose. So in eagle, I'm going to demonstrate on my right foot. So you'll come into eagle by first drawing the left heel away from the mat. So you're coming up onto the ball of your foot. Then you'll begin to sit back almost as if you're coming into a squat. And then your opposite leg, so right now my left leg, will come up over and cross on top of my right leg. So this is what the legs look like. So it's like a cross-legged seated position, like a lot of us do when we're sitting in a chair. And then our arms, so my right arm will come out in front of me. The left arm is going to swing down and around. So you can try to have backs of your hands touching or grasping like this. And you're trying to draw your elbows up and away. So this is what eagle looks like. If this arm position is uncomfortable for you, you can just wrap your arms around you like this, almost like you're giving yourself a hug. So that's how we'll get into eagle. So all standing at the front of our mat, firmly root down through your right foot and begin to peel your left foot away from the mat. Bend into your right knee, coming down into a baby squat. And then wrap your left leg around your right. Your right arm comes out in front of you, and your left arm sweeps down, under, and around. You can either just give yourself like a little hug, the back of your hands touch, or palms can come to touch. Again, really try to lift up your elbows here. Your chest stays lifted. And then squat as low as you can while maintaining good balance. Feeling the stabilizing muscles in your foot and leg really working here to keep you upright. And how your toes kind of squeeze the mat. Exhale to unravel the arms. Arms come down by your side. Begin to straighten your right leg, but don't let your left leg touch the floor yet. Send it out behind you, flexing the foot as you hinge from the hips into warrior three. Try to keep those hips level here. Press that back leg, that left foot into an imaginary wall. And then lower your right hand down to the mat. Open up the hips and the chest into half moon. Try and stack your shoulders here. Gaze could be at the floor, directly in front of you, or up at your fingers. Your left hand will come down to the mat. Your left leg, keeping straight, will extend out long behind you, reaching for the back of the mat. Right foot meets left. Keep your right leg lifted. Option to come down to your knees, or squeeze your elbows in by your sides to lower through a single leg push-up. Inhale to upward facing dog cobra. Exhale to downward facing dog. Again, using this time as an opportunity to come back to your breath. On an inhale, come up onto your toes, bend your knees, look between your hands, and step to the front of your mat into forward fold. Inhale to push up to flat back. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale, sweep your arms up overhead, palms touch, gaze follows. Exhale, palms to heart center. Arms come down by your sides. We'll do this all on the left side now. So begin to shift the weight into your left foot. Right foot begins to peel away from the floor. Begin to bend into your left knee. Right leg crosses over. Lower down into a squat. Your left arm will come out in front. Right arm sweeps down and under. You can reach for the back of your hands or palms to touch. And then really try to lift up those elbows. Gaze is out front here. On an exhale, keep your legs where they are, but let your arms float down by your sides. Begin to straighten your left leg. Uncross your right leg, but don't let it touch the floor yet. Flex your right foot and begin to hinge from the hips, extending your right leg out back to come into warrior three. Hips are level. Your right foot is flexed as if it's pushing into an imaginary wall. Maintain that steady belly breathing. Lower your left hand down towards the mat. Open your hips and your chest to the side wall as you come into half moon pose. Your right hand will come back down to the mat. Square your hips off to the mat. Your right leg will lower down to the back of the mat. Left leg will follow, but keep it lifted. You have the option to lower down to your knees or shift the weight into your hands. Squeeze your elbows in by your sides as you lower down chest first and then hips through your single leg push-up. Inhale to cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, send your hips up and back to downward facing dog. Again, using this as an opportunity to catch your breath, to slow the heart rate. On an inhale, come up onto your toes, bend your knees, look between your hands and step to the front of your mat into a forward fold. Inhale, push to flat back. Exhale to forward fold. And on strong legs, sweep your arms up overhead, palms touch, gaze follows. Exhale, palms to heart center. Arms come down by your side. So you can stay where you are at the front of your mat. I'm again going to square off to the camera so I can show you this next set of routine, or this next routine. We'll come into tree pose. So begin to shift the weight into your right foot, spreading your toes nice and wide, and begin to peel your left foot away from the mat here. Open your knee up to the side wall, and then place your foot either on your ankle, your calf, or your inner thigh as we come into tree pose. Now in tree pose, just make sure that your foot is not over top of your knee, because when you're in tree pose, so your lifted leg is pushing into your standing leg. So if you're over top of your knee, you're going to be pushing into your knee, which is never a good idea. And then your standing leg is very strong and active. So your muscles are engaged. Your quadriceps, the front muscles of your thigh, are engaged. You're squeezing them, pulling your kneecap upwards. So that's kind of the sensation that you're looking for. And then this lifted leg right now, so your left leg is active as well, pushing into your standing leg. So we're drawing everything inwards and upwards. Again, you can choose whatever hand placement you want. This is a popular pose, so, and we've definitely done it before in previous classes. Begin to close your knee off back to the center of the room, and then you can either hug your knee into your chest or hook your peace fingers around your big toe and begin to extend out long in what's called hand to toe. It's a very creative name. So I'm going to turn to a side view so you can see what I'm doing. So, and then begin to bend your knee, release your hand. Your foot will drop towards your bum, and then wrap your left hand on the inside of your left foot. So your thumb is on top, your fingers on the bottom. Turn back around here. Your right hand will come up towards the ceiling. Push your foot into your hand and your hand into your foot as you try to draw your foot away from your bum. And hinge at the hips into dancer's pose. On an inhale, slowly come to stand. Let your foot come down to the mat and give your feet a shake. All right, we'll begin to do that on the other side. So begin to shift the weight into your left foot. Right foot peels away from the mat. Open up your leg or your knee to the side wall, placing the bottom of your foot on your ankle, your shin, or your inner thigh. Your standing foot, so your left foot is rooted really strong. Everything is engaged, your hamstrings, your quads, your glutes, really drawing everything inwards and upwards. Your lifted leg is pushing into your standing leg. And that's what really helps you find your balance in tree pose. And then you can find whatever arm variation you want. If tree pose is relatively easy for you, you can either try to move your arms around to make it a little more dynamic, or you can close your eyes, which puts a whole new twist on balance poses, let me tell you, holy moly. Begin to close your right knee off to the side wall, and you can either hug your knee or take your peace fingers and wrap them around your big toe, extending your leg out long. Slowly release, turn off to the side wall. Your foot draws up towards your bum. Your right hand will reach around the inside of your right foot. So your thumb is pointing up towards the ceiling. Your fingers are pointing down towards the ground. Your left hand sweeps up overhead as you push your foot into your hand, trying to move your foot away from your bum, and begin to hinge forward into dancers. Inhale, slowly to come to stand. Let your foot and hand come down to the mat. Give your feet a little shake here. Inhale, sweep your arms up overhead, palms touch, gaze follows. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale to flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Plant your palms and step your feet back into high plank, high push-up. Option to lower down to your knees or shift the weight into your hands. Squeeze your elbows in by your sides as you lower down for your push-up. Inhale to cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale to downward facing dog. Take a few calming breaths here, stretching out your calves and your hamstrings and even the bottom of your feet, which have been working really hard in these balance poses. And then come up onto your toes, bend your knees, loop between your hands, and step to the front of your mat into a forward fold. Inhale to push up to flat back. Exhale to forward fold. And on strong legs, sweep your arms up overhead, palms touch, gaze follows. Exhale, palms to heart center. And lower your hands all the way down. We'll all meet on the mat in a seated position. Your feet flat on the mat, knees are bent. And we'll come up into boat pose, which is a different kind of balance pose. Basically, we're balancing up on our sits bones. And there are a few variations that we can do here. So this is a core exercise. So you can either place your hands behind you and then lift your feet up. Try not to put too much weight in your hands, but it's more there so that you're not rounding through the back from doing this, but as a kickstand to help you keep your spine nice and long. You can then try to place your hands out in front of you or extend your legs out long. So choose whichever variation is best for you and allows you to keep a nice straight spine without rounding through the low back, because because that will cause immediate discomfort, and then throughout the day you'll probably find the discomfort continues to grow. So begin in whatever variation feels best for you, and on an inhale we'll come up. So again, trying to sit up nice and tall on those sits bones, trying to draw your thighs in nice and close to your tummy. Hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower down, and then lower all the way onto your back. Draw your knees in towards your chest, placing your hands over top of your shins or your knees. You rock side to side to massage out your lower back. Extend your left leg out long with the foot flexed, and then your right foot draw up towards the ceiling, keeping a bent knee. Your right arm, your elbow will come around the inside of your knee, but your hand on the outside of your foot. So it looks a little something like that. And this is called half happy baby. So you're really trying to draw your knee down towards the ground to get a nice stretch in your hamstring. We'll hold for a few nice deep breaths here. And then switch sides. So your right foot extends along with the foot flexed. Bend your left knee, drawing the foot up towards the ceiling. Your arm comes on the inside of the knee, but your hand wraps around the outside of your foot, trying to draw your knee down close to the mat to get a nice stretch to the back of the hamstring, with the hopes of maybe one day your knee actually touching the ground. So in this position, we're getting a nice stretch through the right hip flexor and then the left hamstring. So we're still working on both sides. And then draw your right foot back up into full happy baby. And rock a little bit side to side here, continuing to massage out the low back. And then straighten your one leg and bend the other leg, alternating to get a bit of a stretch into your calf as well as you try to straighten your leg. I'm not able to straighten my leg all the way. Some might be able to, some might not be able to. But we're all working with what we got. Just kind of alternate back and forth. If this doesn't feel good for you, you can stay happy baby. Come back to full happy baby. And then we'll rock and roll up into a seated position. And we'll finish with a nice little foot massage because our feet are really working hard in this balance series. And so it's nice to give them a little bit of love because they have been working hard, especially right now when we're sitting a lot. We're not using them as much. And so they can tire a lot quicker. So you can choose whatever foot you want to start with. I will leave that up to your discretion. And we'll start by just kind of kneading into the ball of the foot. And you can kind of feel around for your toes and where the tarsals are, so that's where the long bone is. And you can kind of wiggle them back and forth to give a nice little massage through there. Pressing on the padding of the ball of your foot. And then fanning across them, really trying to like open and close your foot here. And then making your way down to the mid of the foot. This is where I tend to feel most of the fatigue in balance poses, is in the midfoot. feel like it's pretty common for most people. And then we don't want to forget about the ball of fat. I just tend to do more of a squeeze, and that feels good for me. It's nice and quick though. You can always take longer if you want. This is a recording, so if it feels good, go for it. Or if you just want to stop the recording and ask someone, like your significant other, to give you a massage, highly endorse that. So you do you. And then we'll switch feet. So coming back, kind of starting with that rocking back and forth at the toes. Making sure that we're nice loosey-goosey through there. And then kind of fanning the foot. And making our way down. And don't forget to do the arch. I feel like the arch can be really forgotten. So just making sure to spend a little bit of time there, maybe working from the inside of your foot to the outside. And then finally, a little bit of time on the heel. All right, so then we'll return to a cross-legged seated position, sitting up nice and tall through your spine. You can place your hands wherever you want. You can keep your eyes open or let them close. And we'll do a few rounds of belly breathing. So inhale, expanding through the tummy, up into the ribs, really trying to separate those ribs to get into the intercostal muscles, massaging out those muscles between the ribs, and then up into the chest. And then as you exhale, everything drawing back to the midline. So we'll do this for a few rounds at the count of 4. So inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly return back to the natural rhythm of your breathing. Thanks for joining me today for today's balance class. If there's anything that you really want to be working on, maybe a pose or an area of strength to improve yoga, or even just your time in the gym, these are very complementary styles of workout. Please let us know. As you can see, we really take your suggestions to heart and make sure that we incorporate them into our classes. We would love to hear from you. We hope that you have a great rest of your day. And again, thanks for joining us.